Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Antonio. Welcome back to Manifesting Your Desires. Today, we're going to talk about your energy patterns. And, of course, you guys know I got it from the book, Manifest Your Destiny. Like I said, I'm going back through, I'm doing a little detailed studying on it. But I think I want to say it was the first chapter. It talked about energy patterns. And the thing about energy patterns is we all have them. And they all kind of dictate where you're going in life. So, like for me, let me give y'all an example. One of my energy patterns, because, from time to time, I take a little cannabis now. But if I take too much cannabis, let me show you how my energy pattern is. I take too much cannabis, I'll start to overeat. And then it might, sometimes depending on if I take my cannabis too late at night, I'll stay up. And if I stay up, it's going to affect me waking up the next morning. And, y'all know this cannabis is kind of potent these days. So, I'll wake up still with a little buzz. And I might even wake up in the middle of the night eating Lord knows what. And, it'll affect the next day. I might wake up too groggy to really fully be aware and meditate properly, how I feel is properly for me. And that becomes a pattern, because then I end up rushing, and you feel me? Whereas when I balance with my cannabis and I microdose it, my eating habits is still good. I'll wake up early in the morning, go to sleep at a good time, wake up, be able to meditate. These last couple, maybe a week and a half, I've been working on waking up early just to meditate, even if I fall asleep after the meditation. But I'm just learning to develop a higher frequency energy pattern. And I notice certain things, when I overdo certain things, especially cannabis, it'll send me back into a certain loop. And with that loop, I'll get like a little bit lazy, unmotivated, and that comes with a certain, energy pattern that I don't really like. Because for me, I'm not gonna, like I say, I do benefit from microdosing mushrooms. I do benefit from CBD. I do benefit from cannabis. I do. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all. But it's still a balance, And for me, like, when it comes, especially like when it comes to cannabis, because the cannabis is so tricky, because it can really enhance your life, but it'll also trick you and have you like, oh, I can have a little bit more, and I can have a little bit more, and this thing, you're like, oh. So I just learned how to balance that cannabis right now where I'm at in life. But also I notice when I microdose whatever, whether it be my mushrooms, cannabis, CBD, whatever, like, I'm able to wake up with a clear mind. I have more of a discipline, and that's honestly what I'm going for. And a lot of times in life, our energy patterns is what's holding us back. We all fall into like a loop. Like, you'll be doing good, and then you might start back binge eating. You might start back binge watching some low vibrational TV shows. You feel me? It's different strokes for different folks. And another typical energy pattern that I see that we probably all experience is the employee. So just think, when it comes to the 9 to 5, the typical energy pattern for a 9 to 5, let's say for 9 times out of 10, the average person gonna be up all night. So let's start at the nighttime, because from darkness came light. Let's start in the dark. So the typical employee, let's just say you up all night because for whatever reason. Now you got to hurry up and go to sleep, which means you're not going to be fully rested. Because from my experience, let's say, for instance, I go to sleep at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and even if I still get 5, 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep, I'll still be groggy. Versus if I go to sleep a little bit early and still get the same amount of hours of sleep, I'll be refreshed, which is weird. But anyway, you go to sleep late, you waking up, you want to get those last few minutes in, which is going to make you rush. That's the start of the pattern. Now you rushing to get to work, and you probably didn't brush your teeth, you probably didn't take a shower. One or the other, something ain't getting done. It's either you're going to brush your teeth, wash your face, not take a shower, or whatever. And Lord knows if you got to wear regular clothes to work or you got a uniform. So you probably just throwing the same uniform you had on yesterday. And you rushing, you force feeding yourself just to go out there, get stuck in traffic, go to work all day, snack, eat whatever. And the only reason why you snacking and eat whatever is because you stressed, or you probably not running on an adequate amount of rest, so you're not really making irrational decisions. And then you probably working somewhere where you don't really like, around people you don't really like. Now you got to go code switch and pretend and all that. And now after work, you got to go get stuck in traffic, come home, and you got to spend time with your family if you got a family. Cook, do whatever you got to do before you burn out and crash just to do it all over again. And the only time you really get free is the weekend. You see what I'm saying? And realistically, if you doing something that's burn you out, whenever you get a break, you should be doing stuff that recharges you. And a lot of times when we have these jobs, when the weekend comes, what we want to do? We want to party, we want to drink, we want to smoke, we want to turn up, we want to do all that. And all that is draining us even more. So if you're in a stressful situation or position, you got to change that energy pattern. And whenever you get free time to recharge, whatever you're doing in that moment of your free time to recharge, that is really going to be beneficial and key to you developing a new energy pattern. Because if you are already in a stressful energy pattern, and when it's time to recharge, you just always on your phone, you doing, like I say, you burning your energy out, dehydrating yourself is not going to help. So I noticed that about me. Like I have to be disciplined when it comes to cannabis, because I grew up in a household where, I ain't gonna lie, where drugs were really relevant. So I grew up around various addicts. So for me, I have to, sometimes I have to put my brakes on when it comes to getting a little lifted, because I know what I grew up around, and that we not want to go down that path. And a lot of times, like now that I'm realizing I'm raising my frequency and my vibration, man, a lot of times I don't even need the stuff that I thought I need. And because it's like once I experience that euphoric feeling, it's like I can capture it and hold it in like some mental muscle memory of mine, and I'm able to draw from it when needed. But it is times when I'm like, yo, I need to microdose of mushrooms, or I need to hit the cannabis. You feel me? I need to, hey. But for the most part, I'm changing my energy pattern, and I recently realized that, like, yo, when I overdo cannabis, boom, I go back into a loop. And that energy pattern, it's certain things on the energy pattern that when I'm up here on this energy pattern, they just don't. These are two different frequencies, two different individuals. But of course, physically, they are the same. But after experiencing that, man, I'm like, yo, I think y'all should work on y'all energy patterns. Focus on what it is that's looping you. I don't know what it could be. Food, it could be social media, it could be music, I don't know, it could be drugs, it could be something you're doing. And I bet you, if you pay attention to yourself, something you're doing, you're like, yo, every time I do that, this action follows. And then I just go deeper and deeper and deeper. But every time I do this, I feel better. And this happens and this happens. So be aware of your energy patterns, and whatever you do, always create a high frequency energy pattern. And not saying that you're doing this to be perfect or that your life is going to be perfect, but you should become aware of the things that's, not beneficial to you in a sense, because we want to elevate. So y'all pay attention to your energy patterns, I'm telling you. Or just pay attention to the energy patterns throughout life, and you'll be like, oh, okay. But in the meantime, between time, man, y'all already know, stay up, stay down. Watch them energy patterns.